What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G. If you're not following me on Instagram, then definitely make sure to do that now. I've got behind-the-scenes content, short-form videos, live streams, and more that you can't find anywhere else. Now, this device was recently launched by Samsung, and it is the successor to last year's Galaxy A53 5G. Now, in a separate video, I will be comparing this phone to that phone, so definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that content. Now, before I show you a variety of different things about the Galaxy A54 5G, let's see what all comes included here in the box. So here is the box for the A54 5G. There's a picture of the phone right there. And by the way, I want to mention too that I have linked to this device in the video description so that you can take a look and see what various configurations are being offered in your region. I know in some regions the phone is offered in different colors, and also there are different promotions being offered as well. So again, take a look at the various links in the description to see what your various options are. Now with the A54 5G, we have yet another slim box, similar to the predecessor model of the device. In the box itself, we have a quick start guide. We also have a SIM card removal tool, and then finally, we have a double-sided USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. But unfortunately, similar to last year, there is no USB wall adapter included in the box, so you will have to supply that on your own. Now, in many ways, the Galaxy A54 5G is more of an evolution from its predecessor model. However, there are quite a few things here with the device that are completely new. For example, the overall form factor of the phone is a lot different. We have a different style camera setup here in the back. Also, this time around, there's only 3 cameras instead of 4, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in the video. But I'd say the biggest difference is the build materials. Now, this phone does still have a plastic band running around the sides, but this time around, the material on the back of the device is glass instead of plastic. So we have a glass display, of course, which is made of Gorilla Glass 5, and then on the back of the phone, we have glass as well. So that change in itself certainly makes this phone look and feel a lot more premium. Now with the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G, we have a very large 6.4-inch display. Now this display features Super AMOLED as the display type, and it does feature 120Hz refresh rate. So overall, when navigating around the phone and looking at the display, everything looks and feels very premium here. The display is very bright, we're getting excellent colors, we're also getting really good viewing angles as well, so this phone seems a lot more expensive than it actually is. Now the display itself is 1080p, so that makes this phone excellent for viewing video content. We have a PPI of 403, we have a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio, so a more narrow but taller form factor, and we have an 82.9% screen-to-body ratio. So overall, we have pretty small bezels all around the device. Another awesome thing too is that we have a hole punch for the front-facing camera, and the actual hole punch is very small, and that front-facing camera is 32 megapixels. Now internally here, with the device, we're getting 128 gigabytes of storage, along with microSD card expansion. So I know many longtime Samsung customers are very disappointed that the flagships the company offers, such as the S series, no longer offer microSD card expansion. So if you still really want that feature, then at least know that you can always go for the Galaxy A54 5G. Now unfortunately, there is no wireless charging with this device, but that is pretty consistent with any of Samsung's A series phones. But we do have an in-display fingerprint sensor, so we'll give that a try right now. And that's very fast and accurate and responsive. You probably noticed as well that I can do this with the display off, so that works really well. And in addition to that, this device does feature face unlock. So I do appreciate that we have multiple methods here for accessing the phone. Now heading over to the cameras on the back of the device, as I mentioned a little bit ago, we are getting a triple camera setup. So we're getting a 50 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera that can capture images at up to 123 degrees, and we're getting a 5 megapixel macro camera for close-up images. So the big omission compared to the previous model of this device, the A53 5G, is that there is no dedicated depth sensing camera. But it appears that this time around, Samsung is using software to help out its portrait mode versus actually relying on a whole separate camera for that functionality. And speaking of portrait mode, we're getting that with both the rear and front cameras on this device. And stay tuned for my full review video of this phone here on the channel, as I'll be doing a pretty deep analysis into the actual camera quality that we're getting here. Now here's how things look on the camera app on the device. This is with the main rear camera right now. Then from here, we can switch over to the ultra wide angle camera to fit a lot more content into the frame. So I'm a big fan of the ultra wide camera. It really comes in handy in a lot of situations, and especially when I'm traveling. Then from there, we can head over to the other options, go to the More tab, and you can go to the macro camera and get very close up and have things be in really good detail. And overall, I've been really happy so far with the various cameras on this device, but I certainly will want to spend a lot more time with it before I give you my full opinions of it. But we can also head over to portrait mode to get those nice blurred out backgrounds. There's also a blur slider here, so you can adjust that further. And then we can flip around to the front-facing camera to take portrait selfies. So there's me right there. You also have the blur slider here as well. And then if you want to, you can even do a group selfie so that things crop out a little bit. In addition to that, if you just want to take standard selfies, you do have that ability as well. So in general, a lot of different features here related to the various cameras here on the device. And I do appreciate that they were able to get rid of the depth sensing camera while still retaining all the various abilities that that camera did offer. So I'm all for simplicity. And I'm sure also nowadays with the innovations related to AI and all those various software functionalities, they're able to do a lot more with a lot less. Now internally, with the Galaxy A54 5G, there's quite a bit to like here. So we're getting 6 GB of RAM paired up with the Samsung Exynos 1380 processor. Now with that processor, you should expect to get mid-range performance. So what I mean by that is, this phone will be fine for most tasks that you do on a smartphone. So phone calls, text messages, going on social media, browsing the web, email, watching video content, even doing most games on the phone. All those things will work great here on the device. Really, you're going to run into some frustrations if you're playing high-performance games or doing things like video editing. And if you are using this phone all the time, maybe it's your business phone, for example, and you're just constantly on your device, or maybe you're someone who is always on their phone. You might notice some frustrations here. You might want to spend a little bit more money on something a little bit more premium so that you don't have to deal with any potential slowdowns into the future. But for most typical smartphone users, I feel like you'll be very happy with everything that this device has to offer regarding the processor and RAM that we're getting with it. And then another benefit with this processor, and as the name of the phone does imply, the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G is compatible with 5G networks. So at this point in 2023, I do think you can get by without 5G, but at the same time, I don't see a reason to spend all the time and effort to get a brand new smartphone and not have it work with your carrier's latest and greatest network. I ran a benchmark test with the Galaxy A54 5G on Geekbench 6, and here are the scores in that test. You can see I got a single core score of 1004 and a multi-core score of 2788. Now what I recommend doing is running this test on your current phone and then compare your scores to these scores to see how the Galaxy A54 5G compares. Another thing I want to mention as well is that this phone does support 4K video recording for both the front and rear cameras. So that's definitely an excellent thing to see. Now as far as battery capacity goes, we're getting a very large 5,000 milliamp hour internal battery with the Galaxy A54 5G. So along with that, we are getting up to 25 watt fast charging. Now keep in mind, if you want to get the full 25 watt fast charging, you do need a 25 watt wall adapter, and there isn't even a wall adapter included in the box here with the phone. So keep in mind that the wall adapters you currently have might not even be fast enough to deliver the full fast charging speed that this phone is capable of. And I definitely recommend recharging the phone at 25 watts if possible, just so that you'll be able to get the phone recharged very quickly so you can move on with your day. But one thing's for sure, having that massive internal battery definitely will give this phone very good battery life. Now as far as the software goes, on the Galaxy A54 5G, this phone is running Android 13, paired up with Samsung's One UI 5.1. Now if you've used a Samsung device anytime recently, and especially within the last 5 years, the experience here should be pretty familiar to you. So one thing I do appreciate about One UI is that Samsung does change Android quite a bit compared to stock Android, but at the same time, they are packing this phone full of different unique features. And also there's the whole Samsung ecosystem as well that this phone is then part of. But definitely stay tuned for my tips and tricks video about this phone, as I'll be showing you a variety of my favorite features. Now another awesome thing with the Galaxy A54 5G is that we are getting NFC. So if you want to use tap and pay with this device to make mobile contactless payments, you can do that. You can do it with either Samsung Pay or Google Pay, so that's really awesome. The phone also features IP67 dust and water resistance, which means that it can go underwater for up to 1 meter for up to 30 minutes. And then another awesome thing with this device is that it does have stereo speakers. So what I mean by that is that when you're watching a video or listening to music, you'll be getting audio coming out of both the main speaker on the bottom of the phone, but then also the earpiece. So that does give you a much more immersive audio listening experience. But now that I've discussed many of the major features and specifications of the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G, let's take a closer look at the hardware of the device. Now, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, this phone is being offered in a variety of different colors, which does differ based on the region that you're in. Now, this device is in violet, so if you're curious, that's the color of the phone. But taking a look at the left side of the phone, we have nothing. Then on the right side, we have volume up, volume down, and also the power button. Then up top here, we have the noise canceling microphone, and then the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card. Then on the bottom of the phone, we have the microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer. Looks like another microphone here as well, and then the speaker. Then on the back of the phone, we have the triple camera setup, flash, and then that's pretty much it. We have the Samsung logo. But overall, I really like the glass material on the back of the phone. It certainly makes it feel a lot more premium than even this device is. And the frosted sides of the phone also give it a nice touch. So overall, I'm really happy so far about the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G. I feel like this phone is a really solid successor to last year's Galaxy A53 5G, and I'm really looking forward to spending more time with this device and giving you a variety of different videos about it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. But this is Kevin here, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.